Hello there and welcome to this very brief walkthrough of your new WhosOff account. Today we're going to be covering off the navigation around the system as well as how to use some of the useful tools that are going to be available to you. Not forgetting, of course, that there are free to download mobile applications that are available via the Android and iPhone application stores. Getting started, we're going to have a look at the WhosOff calendar. This is a month-by-month overview of your particular department. Now, you may also be allowed to view the entire company, but this permission is dictated by your account super user. On this month-by-month overview, as you can see, we're currently looking at the month of September. We can see our department and any time off that has been recorded. For example, we can see a holiday vacation request just here. We can also see a sick leave request. Now, we have been allowed to see these particular leave types. Again, this is dictated by your account super user. You can also see when leave is pending and therefore requiring approval, indicated in a stripe format against a more solid, prominent colour where it indicates the request has been approved. You also have some options on the right hand side of the screen for scaling through the course of the year. You can go as far in advance as you need to, and likewise you can go backwards as far as you possibly want to go. At the very top of the screen you also have some search filters that allow you to very quickly navigate throughout the WhosOff month by month overview, as well as tailoring the information on display to your overall needs. You also have the option to export the data into either a CSV or a .xlsx format, and you can also print this overview in a nice, easy to read calendar format. Moving on to our dashboard, what you can see here is any information that is relevant for you. Now, this dashboard is broken down into 6 widgets. As you can see here, we have some examples of these widgets on display. This dashboard is customizable, so you can click the Edit My Dashboard option and select whichever widget is more relevant to you. Now, these widgets are respective to your permissions, so therefore you will only be able to see what you are allowed to see based on the system settings. But these are all customizable, and if you only wanted to display one widget slot, that's absolutely fine. But the more widget slots you have available, the more impact your dashboard has. Just to touch on a couple of these widgets immediately, you can see this one here is representing our leave entitlement for this year. You can see a really nice informatic idea about how much leave entitlement you have available to book. You also get a further breakdown of that just below. Moving on to the right hand side of our dashboard, you can see there's a request leave widget, which is again very useful just for convenience to be able to book your time off. And then scrolling down, we also have the My Tasks widget. Now, this is very handy if you are set to approve for certain individuals, as it will give you quick, immediate access to those specific pending leave requests. What we're going to touch on now is booking time off. Now, as we've already discussed, you can book time off using the request leave widget as shown here, but there's also a quick access menu. This will allow you to access the Submit Leave Request tool on any screen you happen to be on within the system. So, for example, if we go to the WhosOff calendar and we go and find our desired time where we would like to book off, for example, if we wanted to book this week in November, we could very easily do that whilst looking at the calendar. By accessing the quick access menu, we can click on Submit Leave Request and it'll open up the right hand panel. From this right hand panel, our first option is to choose what leave type we would like to book. This leave type list has been made available to you by your super user, and after selecting your desired leave type, you can then move on and choose your start date. So we're going to book off the last week in November, starting on the 20th of November itself. We can then choose our duration as either all day, half a day AM or PM, or as in this example, longer than a day. We can then choose our end date, and I'm deliberately selecting Sunday the 26th of November. We can then include any notes we would like to be translated to our line manager or approver. This might be useful for them to be able to make the best decision about taking action on the leave, but this may or may not be mandatory. Once you're happy with these details, click on the Check Details option, and it will then present to you information about whether any allowance is due to be removed from your leave entitlement. As you can see here, we've requested 7 days in total, but only 5 of those are due to be deducted from my allowance because I only work 5 days a week. So you don't have to worry about booking over across any non-working days. The system will take that into consideration automatically. If we're happy with that, we can click on Submit Leave Request. As you can now see, the WhosOff calendar has been updated with our leave request. It currently shows, as we saw before, in a stripy format to indicate that the leave request is pending. We can then, if we want to, on the right hand panel, click on New Leave Request to submit a further request, but we can also close it and resume our other duties within the account. Now let's take a look at approving some time off, or at least taking action on it. So, back on our dashboard, we spoke earlier on about the My Tasks widget. This will give you instant access to any pending leave requests that require your attention, as well as flagging up how many pending requests are currently outstanding. Don't worry though if you don't have this My Tasks widget, because from the dashboard you'll always be able to access pending leave along the top bar that you can see we've highlighted here, or by accessing the leave option on the left hand menu and going into the pending leave area. We'll click on that option now, and immediately you will be presented with any pending requests that require your attention. We can see this one here for Joan and when she's asked for. If we wanted to, we could approve it straight away by clicking the Approve option. We can also click on Process, and that will open up the right hand panel, giving us useful information about what the request involves. We can also make our decision directly through here as well as provide any notes that might be relevant to accompany the approval. Closing this option will allow you to again review the request a bit further by clicking on the View option. This will take you into the request details itself, giving you information about the individual, how much leave entitlement they currently have left for this year, as well as anything for next year if that has been supplied. And it will tell you more information about the request and if they've supplied any notes on the leave request. Looking on the left hand side of the request details, we can also access the WhosOff calendar. This will take you to a month by month overview, very similar to what we saw beforehand, allowing you to review the request in line with other staff members in that person's department. This then allows you to make a better decision about whether it's acceptable to approve it or not based on your staff availability or any regular occurrences that have happened with this individual. You can even review a yearly calendar for this person. This will allow you to have a further examination of the person's leave record and what they've taken to date, giving you the best opportunity to ensure that the right action is taken. Once you've reviewed all of this information and are ready to make your decision, you can head back to the Manage option, which will allow you to process the request with either approve, decline, or cancel. In this example, we're going to approve the request. We can then leave a note as well if we want to, and by clicking Process Request, you can now see the request has been approved. And when we click OK, we can return to the WhosOff calendar, and if we go to next month, we can now see that Joan's request has changed from the original stripy format into a solid and prominent colour. What happens at this stage is the staff member receives an email from the system notifying them of the outcome of that request. This is a useful way of keeping them in the loop of what's going on with their leave. If we wanted to take a closer look at the staff member's leave records, we also have the opportunity to do so via the My Staff section. This will present any members of staff that you are set to approve for. You can see, in line with their name, how much leave entitlement they have left for this year and for next year, as well as if there are any pending requests currently outstanding. You also have the opportunity to manage that individual, where you can see further information about the leave they've already taken, as well as review any details of a leave request that has already taken place. You can also, if you've been given appropriate permissions, have access to some additional options as well, such as being able to edit or cancel leave on their behalf, but this is dictated by the company super user. Moving back over to our dashboards, we can next move on to the My Leave area. Now, the My Leave area is useful for you to be able to view what leave you have taken to date, as well as manage your own time off accordingly. If you have a pending leave request, you're able to send a reminder to your own approver, allowing them to be prompted again of the outstanding request, and just give them a gentle reminder they need to take the appropriate course of action. You can also review your leave entitlement for this year and next year as well, and also book time off directly through this page. There are also some search filters along the top of the screen, allowing you to find the exact leave request you're trying to locate, and you can even export or print your data as required. As an approver, it's sometimes apparent that you need to examine your staff members' leave data in closer proximity. That's why we have a number of reports that are available to you. One of the best reports to run would be the WhosOff report, because this allows you to find lots of useful information about the staff members that you currently manage. It will detail any leave requests within the chosen period, as well as their leave entitlement that you can see on the right-hand side. The search filters along the top of the page allow you to locate exact data within the given time frame. You can then export this data and print it as required. But of course, there are lots of other reports that are available to you via the reports dashboard. We won't go into each one, but feel free to have a look around and familiarise yourself with the best report that works for you. Help is never too far away within WhosOff, and via the Help section on the left-hand menu, you have access to a vast knowledge-based library of help articles. These articles can help to answer any questions that you may have about the system, or introduce you to some new and useful tools. You can also contact your line manager directly through WhosOff by clicking on the relevant option, as well as contact our support team directly through here via email. But don't forget, we also have a telephone number available on site, which will allow you to give us a call at any time. Thank you very much for watching, and we wish you well with your new WhosOff account.